Actually, the parent's domain is finished, and now it's time to define our child. The first child is the first and only child is the architecture behavioral. You can change the name because it's up to you, but if you change the name here, you should change it here as well. And here you should define that this child is the child of which parents. So here the name of the entity should be right here. Here you can see the name of entity is simple buffer. So this architecture is for the simple buffer, and between begin and end you can write any code that you like. For example, here this instruction will send to the D out. D in will send to the D out after 10 nanoseconds. It means actually this statement is for the delay. It means that after 10 nanoseconds, everything in the in your input will send to the D out your output. Okay, this is just a simple example. Now let me do it in the Quartus. Actually here I bring some picture for you. I try to define everything in the picture. You can just review it. This is the task of lab number 8. Actually here the simple design, if you remember from our first labs, you can do this design, just some AND, some OR, some NOT, some input and some output. Okay, so for the first task of this lab we should design this circuit and get the output. Actually you should get the simulation waveform, compile it and everything, like the lab number 1 and lab number 2. Okay, but let me give you something. When you have this circuit, you can define one VHDL file that for this task. So you have 3 options actually for designing this circuit. One of them is the logical circuit, the another one is Verilog HDL that we know about the Verilog HDL. The lab 1 to 5 is about the Verilog, lab 5, 6, 7, I think we're just working with the Verilog HDL. So it was a Verilog HDL, but for this lab we are working with the VHDL file. Okay, so for this session you should draw this circuit, and also you should write the VHDL code corresponding to this circuit. Actually this is the VHDL code that do the same task as this circuit. So the output of this circuit is exactly the same as the output of this VHDL file. Okay, now let me explain the VHDL file briefly. Again, we define our package and our library. Here we define our entity. Be careful, the name of our entity in the lab, it is lab 6, but you can change it to the lab 8. Be careful about that. And also if I change the lab 8 here, I should change the lab 8 here. And also I should change it here. So again, I will tell you, if you are going to change the name of the lab 8 here, you should change it here and you should change it here, because otherwise you cannot run your program. So don't send me message and tell me that our program has a problem and cannot compile it, because I'm quite sure that the problem is about the naming of the entity 1, 2 and 3, and must be the same as the name of the project. Now let me copy paste the project and I explain everything about this project in the Quartus.